Hey, Scott Smith here. If you're watching this, then you're probably wondering, what's this company all about? Or how did they get started? Or why did they do what they do? So here's the backstory to get you caught up for those that want to learn about the company and some of the founders' beliefs. The year was 2008. The economy was crashing. But most everyone remembers and has stories about 2008 to 2010. It was a memorable year for me as well. So in 2008, I got married, inherited two awesome bonus kids, built a house with my wife, decided to trust in Jesus as my Lord and Savior, and transitioned careers. And all this happened in actually about 6 months during 2008. Regarding the career transitioning, timing probably wasn't best, but I left a very successful medical sales career to start a marketing company. And many people thought that was crazy and questioned me, saying, why would you walk away from an industry that so many others are trying to break into? And the answer was this: I had to follow my passion. And my passion was not standing in a cold operating room, even though I was working along some of the most brilliant men and women around. Neurosurgeons, orthopedic spine surgeons, sports medicine docs. My passion was solving problems, in particular marketing problems. You see, prior to working in medical sales, I worked at one of the largest banks, and that's where I started working closely with dozens of local business owners. And what I learned was that while they loved what they were doing, that's all that they wanted to do was what they loved doing. And the problem with that is the vast majority of them did not have a business background. They just wanted to help more people with whatever problems that they were providing solutions to for those people. And the biggest issue with that was almost none of these local business owners had solid game plans on how they were going to succeed. That they were good, hardworking people who had dreams of running their own businesses. And they thought that once they opened the doors, customers would come running through to them, and the phones would just start ringing nonstop. But without a solid game plan, I watched many of them fail, and they had to go back to their 9 to 5s in order to support their families. And I watched their bank accounts and their dreams absolutely deteriorate. So back to 2008, there was 3 distinct conversations that I was a part of or overheard during about a 1-week time span. The first was a local business owner who had hired someone to build their website. The person they hired, however, took the $5,000 and moved themselves back to Michigan with it. And they changed their phone number, and they were never to be heard of again. They basically went into like witness protection. And the other 2 conversations involved online marketing. One business owner had been paying for SEO services for about 6 months and hadn't gotten a single customer, and the other about 1.5 years with very few. All 3 business owners were obviously very disappointed and very frustrated. And listening to these 3 heart-wrenching stories took me back to those years before, watching other local business owners go out of business and giving up on their dreams forever. And I couldn't shake that thought. I thought that there had to be a way to help these local business owners grow their businesses so they could concentrate on what they loved doing, which was solving problems for the niche they had decided and chosen to help out. They just needed someone to help them with the marketing side of things so they could get back to what they enjoyed doing. And so that's how the transition happened for me in 2008. I set out on a journey and a mission to find the best ways to get paying customers in contact with honest, hardworking local business owners, so the business owners could grow their businesses, live out their dreams, and leave a legacy for their families. And I happened to be in a pretty good place for a while. You see, I made really good money for quite a few years in medical, and was able to go into big time study mode to learn what was working and what wasn't working. So over the next couple of years, I invested several thousand hours in learning the ins and the outs of bringing the very best return on investment to local business owners while cutting my teeth, helping out nonprofits for pro bono, and taking on clients at ridiculous discounts so the processes could be continually tested and improved. And while the results for these nonprofits and early business clients were very consistent and very promising, everything wasn't all roses. Remember, this was a time during a recession, and I'd inherited a family of 3 to support. And my wife's income had dropped significantly, and I'd been in study mode for 2 years, and my savings that they were running out. So it was time to really start applying what I'd learned. But another really big challenge came out of absolutely nowhere. 2 weeks after I officially launched and brought a handful of lawyer clients on board, Google changed the game. And they did that when they announced that the Google Places pages were no longer a separate algorithm, but were now tied in with the local search results. What this meant is that the Places pages, which you may now know as Google My Business pages, that were not tied to strong, trusted websites, they all started absolutely tanking. So the impact it had on my business was this: the rankings I'd been getting for clients and the customers I'd already started driving to their law firms and other businesses, that they all came to an absolute screeching halt because most of the websites were not built very well. So I did what I felt was right, and I contacted the clients individually over the next couple of weeks and told them I could no longer represent them, but because I knew the strategy would no longer work for them. And this was one of the toughest things ever to do, with a family depending on you and my life savings running out, but I also knew that it was the right thing to do. However, instead of quitting, I went back into study mode, and over the next 12 months studied everything I could about websites, about coding, about what Google liked and what Google didn't like. And I found another problem though. During all the studying, I noticed that many of the so-called gurus online, they were saying completely different things. So you'd have Guru A over here who would say, this is the way you need to do things, and it works. And then you'd have Guru B over here going, this is the way you need to do things, and it works. The problem, though, they were saying the exact opposite things. So they couldn't both be right, and they both had huge followings. So you had all these people following both of them. They couldn't both be right. So I had a dilemma. So I set out on a quest to find out the right methods to getting local business owners the most customers for the best return on their investments. And this quest led me to paying $2,500 in June of 2011 for a week-long training class led by one of the top SEO trainers in the world. And this was after I'd vetted this guy and tried to stump him at local SEO meetups for over 6 months. And it checked out all his answers and determined that this guy really knew what he was talking about and was doing things the right way. So there we were in class. There was about 5 of us in that class, and I believe all the others actually had their class paid for by their companies or their clients. And here I was paying a good chunk of the remaining money we had to see if I was missing anything and to really solidify a major piece of the puzzle that would help these local business owners grow their businesses. And while the class content was amazing, I knew most of it already. But it helped confirm what I knew and gave me a lot of confidence that I was on the right path. And while the week-long training, while it was very impactful, the part that was absolutely game-changing was the 6 months of mentorship I'd worked out with the trainer. So this led us to weekly calls and me hitting him hard for a full 60 minutes, every possible scenario. And as I started to bring on more and more clients, learning how to handle very specific situations for real life clients. And my clients were getting at that time more than what they paid for, because I was helping them for a fraction of the cost that they would have had to pay to go direct to get this kind of help. But looking back, it was a win-win-win all the way around. As the trainer and I formed a great friendship, and even started a mastermind with trainers around the country, which provided a solid foundation for a lot of best practices that we still implement to this day. Okay, if that wasn't enough, there was another unforeseen obstacle, and you may be able to guess what it is pretty quickly. I had someone contact me who had been in the class with us, and this person was a website designer, and said, Scott, you really know all that SEO stuff inside and out, and I don't really want to learn the SEO stuff. I just want to build websites. To which I replied, cool, like, I really don't want to build these websites. I just want to concentrate on driving customers to these local businesses and using my marketing background to do this. And so we did what a lot of people do early in business. We partnered in a company. And you can probably guess where this is heading. So long story short, it was over within 6 months, and ended up with the guy holding all my websites hostage, all the ones that I had prior to him coming on board, everything. So miraculously, I was able to get the hosting company to turn them back over. And that's after providing a lot of proof about what was going on, including getting documents notarized and so on. This is something that is unheard of with hosting companies, is they always take the stance that their customer is the one whose account the websites are on, and they have to get approval from that customer. But thank God, an exception was made in this case. Somebody's looking out for me that day. To this day, I really realize how fortunate I was to get those back. So on top of the attempted hostile takeover, there was money that was also taken that was never seen from again. I'm not going to go into details there, but the silver lining was this: that horrible and humbling experience helped me to build character, and it provided some very valuable learning lessons, and has helped me to help a handful of other clients navigate very similar situations. So to this day, I'm actually better off for going through that experience, and hold no hard feelings to that person. I really do wish them the best. Although the chances of me ever doing business with them again is some huge astronomically negative number. That ain't happening. After that, I tried outsourcing some of the website building. I still needed to have these websites, but that turned into a complete nightmare. Every site that I outsourced had major issues, and many of them got hacked, which turned into me learning a lot about cybersecurity. And after that, I decided, you know what, we're going it alone. We're going to learn to build everything the right way from the ground up. No more relying on this other stuff. Well, not completely on it. I needed someone I could trust to really get started. So I hired a former pastor for a year or two to help put some of the technical processes in place. And after that, started working closely with another technical guy I knew from church. His name's Rich. And Rich has taken the lead on some of the technical sides of things, even to this day. And ever since then, Rich and I have analyzed and tweaked and tested literally thousands of components, and many of those are now part of the online marketing machines. And as things have continued to evolve, and new software and regulations and best practices come out, we continue to test and implement what returns the best results for clients. While we can look back and see how the last decade has impacted and led to the development of these online marketing machines, everything really finally came together towards the end of 2018. And the results have been absolutely amazing. And that gets us completely called up to where we are today. We've since added some other top performers in their respective specialties to the team, and we're continuing to do so in an effort to put together an absolute power team of the best in their respective specialties. And so that very thoroughly answers what's this company all about and how did they get started. Before I answer the final question, I do want to note that the point of sharing all this background info is not to just share a tough story, but to share part of who we are with those who may be interested in possibly working with us. Over the years, we've had countless conversations with clients about how their companies got started and what their companies are all about. And many have kind of pretty scary how similar their stories are. And what I love most about the people is how interesting the people are. I absolutely love the stories I hear of others fighting through tough times and coming out of them stronger and better and able to apply lessons learned to move closer and closer to their dreams. And most of all, I love learning about why they chose to start the business they did, why the business exists, why they kept going when it got tough, and why failure was not or is not an option for them. This tells me a lot about the person. And so this brings us to why we do what we do. While my youth and God have both taken away my ability to judge anyone, and I don't push beliefs on anyone, as that would have actually pushed me away if somebody had done that. I do often ask others what they believe happens after our short time here on earth. So feel free to ask me the same thing next time you see me out. Some of my favorite moments in this life have been sharing this good news with locals, walking down dirt roads, working alongside churches and missionaries in Costa Rica, Haiti, Guatemala, Greece, Cuba the last few years, as well as locally here in Tampa Bay. And that's why I do what I do. We've Got Your Customers exists to not only help grow local service-based businesses, but to help support missionaries across the world. And while this has at times cost us business, I don't see this as my business. God is the CEO of this business. And while we work with both Christian and non-Christian business owners, we don't discriminate. And we bring the same honesty, integrity, and ethics to each and every conversation about business that we have. So I thank you so much for your time and learning about We've Got Your Customers, as well as learning a little bit about my beliefs as founder of the company. And I really sincerely look forward to hearing your story and you sharing that soon. Take care.